Hey, let's do some gaming stupid again. Today's starring the intellectual might of JTech TV. Let's hear what insightful arguments he has today.
There's a lot of good news concerning Resident Evil 7. Let's go over this stuff real quick. It shipped 2.5 million copies.
Shipped doesn't mean sales. That's a popular and kind of shitty tactic that companies use to inflate the sense of how many copies of a game have been sold, even when a good number of those copies will still be sat on store shelves. It's annoying because it makes it harder to work out exactly what's selling where.
The demo was downloaded over 7 million times.
I'm glad to see there's an actual demo. There have been far too many games in the past few years without demos. Thankfully, that appears to be changing, as it only hurts initial sales. A lot of people are becoming savvy to not buying games sight unseen, especially on PC. If you let us know it will run on our systems, how it looks, how it plays, as long as the game's good, you're going to get more sales. Keep this in mind as I'm going to bring it up again later.
And as far as the UK sales chart is telling us, 73% of Resident Evil 7's retail copies were sold on the PS4, which is very, very good in a crowded week with Yakuza 0 and Kingdom Hearts also charting. That's very, very good.
Interesting that you use UK sales charts. Does that mean it hasn't done so well on PS4 elsewhere? Or are you just using that because, you're clearly British? Also, like I said, that doesn't tell us how many are actually sold. You got any stats on digital copies? I mean, why buy a game retail when you can have it downloaded to your system without having to go out into the harsh, unforgiving sun? Or rain if you're where I'm from.
That's it. That's all of the good news you guys are gonna get.
Good news is subjective. I mean, I don't care how well any particular game does on a specific platform. I was delighted when one of my favourite games of 2016, Stardew Valley, aka Harvest Moon but better, aka more addictive than Super Crack with a side of hookers, the game. Having it on more platforms is great for a developer that made something I really like. You really should want the games you love on as many systems as possible if you actually care about games.
Capcom, that's it. I'm pretty sure they've been notified that Resident Evil 7 has been cracked in less than 5 days.
Good. Denovo is terrible. DRM is anti-consumer bullshit that doesn't even have the benefits that publishers claim it has. If these fuckers would spend that money on providing a decent service that's worth paying for, they would make more money in the long run. But these companies are all about some money now instead of more money later.
By this person that does the DRM for all these other people that have been affected by the crack.
You're one of them that does the English real good like what I do. Good into words with you, hombre.
In the DRM, allowing them to be copied and multiplied free by the PC community.
Jesus, are you making out with that, Mike? And what is this PC community? There are a lot of PC gamers out there of all sorts of stripes. I think you mean the pirate gaming community. Not the same thing. At all. Nice attempt to poison the well though, dickhead.
There are many different PC trolls that are playing these games free of charge, not a care in the fucking world.
Oh, is that what you call PC players? Nice one, fuckface. Anyway, where's your data? What is many? Can you quantify that? I can quantify the number of people who own it on Steam. It's just shy of 300,000. It's a pretty decent amount. I would call that many. So how does that compare to the piracy numbers? Or is backing up your claims with empirical data too hard? Or they make your points pathetic, since you are so full of shit.
It all started with Rise of the Tomb Raider, which a lot of PC fans were so excited to get.
Yes, getting good games on your platform of choice is cool. Or do you honestly not care when a good game is denied to you because you game on a specific platform? You sound kind of salty, to be honest, since Xbox and PC got the game a full 10 months before you. You mad? You mad, bro? Personally, as long as the game comes, I'm happy. If it doesn't, yeah, it kinda sucks. I find the practice of exclusives to be a no-win for developers and gamers alike, as I believe art should be as widely available as possible. But that's the industry as it is. Consoles sell holding games hostage instead of offering the best service. All I can do is let people know it's shitty and support the few good developers that do the right thing. I'm looking at you, CD Projekt Red, you sexy bitches.
No one's saying every single PC person is pirating these games due to the fact that most of you guys, your computers can't barely even play Minecraft, let alone any of these.
Interesting claim. And you base it on what? Steam hardware statistics? Now, Steam currently has 125 million active users. The system requirements of Resident Evil 7 want a quad-core and 2GB graphics card. Now, I understand that not all CPUs and GPUs are created equal, but we're trying to work out the highest possible number for the time being. As you can see, 47.5% of users have 4 cores, and totaled up 44.71 users have 2GB or more VRAM. The Steam hardware survey is supposed to be a cross-section of those users, so that means that potentially 45% of 125 million people have PCs that could run many of, if not all of these games. That's 56,250,000 people. Now, obviously, it won't be quite that high. But even if only 1/10 of those have hardware that's up to snuff, and this is me being super fucking generous to Jay, that's still 5,625,000 users. More than double that of the shipped copies of Resi 7. And you said they wouldn't even be able to play Minecraft, you fucking idiot. My point is, don't make shit up. It took you seconds to blurt out some BS. And I had to sit here and check stats and make comparisons to show how unbelievably wrong you are. And it just makes you look like a fucking moron.
So no one's saying every single PC fan is pirating all these games because your computer's not capable of playing most of this shit.
I'm not saying it again, cretin. You don't know what you are talking about. Do some fucking research. Don't just state what you want to be true and then pretend it is. You sound like a religious fundamentalist or a social justice warrior. Not a good look.
That's what's really funny about you guys, and you know it.
Not to toot my own horn, but I know quite a lot. You clearly do not.
So don't go to the comment section bragging about a gaming rig that does not exist in your household.
I'm sorry, I thought that's what console peasants did. They turn up to a conversation, claim to have 4 grand's worth of gaming PC, and then say that gaming on a console is just a better experience. Not in this reality, dickhead. Not if you prefer access to better services. Not if you like higher performance. Not if you don't like being treated like a credit card with an idiot attached to it.
When your computer can only play Minecraft or Counter-Strike or Call of Duty at the lowest settings.
There's a real aggressive undertone there, pal. Might want to work on that. Makes you sound like a cunt. But you know what? Even a PC that can't play the latest AAA nonsense is still a better consumer experience. With services catering to older or low requirement games like the aforementioned Stardew Valley, a game that probably would not exist without the PC platform, by the way. So yeah, who cares if someone wants to play games on a machine that can't play Minecraft? If that's all they want, then they can pay a lot less and still have all the same services as someone with a monster rig. If you get an old Xbox 360, you won't get all the newest services, and eventually they'll stop supporting it altogether.
This right here, a lot of developers clearly depended on. This particular type of DRM.
Developers? No. Publishers? Out of some bloody minded notion that DRM is anything but a noose around everybody's neck? Yeah. There is little to no evidence to suggest DRM helps game sales. In fact, it can hinder them. I try to avoid games that use these types of things, as many other PC gamers do. So that's numerous sales that basically never happen. Numerous people that won't experience something that people spent years of their lives working on. because some corporate fuckwad who was scared that people who don't buy games anyway wouldn't buy this one.
When they make other games, these different developers, will they use a different DRM? Probably. They probably will.
More fool them. This shit always gets cracked. You're ultimately just throwing good money after bad by supporting DRM companies. It's gonna get cracked eventually. Hundreds of developers, as good as they might be, is never going to beat out the tens of thousands, if not millions of bedroom coders, all banging against their latest wall. They'll get through it eventually, because for these people, it's not about playing XYZ game for free. It's about being the one to take down the latest DRM boogeyman, and show the industry that they aren't the ones in control. We are. And if they could only learn to provide us with services instead of trying to tie us down and spoon feed us with more horseshit, they might actually make more money.
Do I know? Hell no. I don't really
Know how to brain?
give a fuck about the DRM thing, because on consoles I know what I have to do. I know it's against the law to steal, so I don't.
Well, that and you can't. It's easy to virtue signal what an upstanding guy you are when there is literally no other option. Also, piracy isn't stealing. I would agree that at least for things you can obtain legitimately, it's wrong, but it isn't stealing. It just isn't. No object is lost when someone copies a game or film. No one is out of pocket. No one has less of something they had before. It is not the same crime. If a crime at all. To me, this shit should be a civil matter, more akin to breaking a contract than stealing a car. But that's just me.
If it's a game I want, I do my research.
Wanker.
If I find out that I'm not comfortable buying that game day one, I don't. If I think it's a day one game, I know. And guess what? I buy it day one.
And more fool you. You really shouldn't buy day one. I obviously understand that urge, but unless you're a huge YouTuber whose revenue from playing it would absorb that price, or you're an actual journalist and for some reason can't get a review copy, wait at least a day or so. Wait for the people who can't control themselves. You never know what issues a game is going to have on launch, and especially you as a PS4 player. Nah mate, Sony's customer service is fucking shite, and if you bought digital, you probably fucked brah.
Many times I definitely pre-order that game, digital or physical. That's what I do as a gamer.
As a gamer, or as a corporate slave moron with no self-control.
But PC fans, they're not understanding that Bandai Namco believes in you guys to do the right thing.
Oh come on, what's with this appeal to emotion? Bandai Namco is a fucking company. They aren't your pal. They aren't your mum. It's a corporate entity designed to make money. I don't have a problem with that. But don't pretend that you or anyone else has any obligation to do anything for a company, or give a single solitary fuck about the fifis of their CEO. It's weird that you would even think to say this. The only obligation I have is to buy and play the games I want when I want. If I want to support a company beyond that, that's completely down to me. More specific to that tweet, at least 110,000 people did the right thing and bought God Eater 2 on Steam. A game I don't know anyone who gives a shit about. So those sound like pretty good numbers, especially considering that the port is apparently garbage. Why doesn't Bandai Namco have to do the right thing and release a half-decent port? Or do companies get a pass from you because reasons?
That's why they gave God Eater 2 to you guys. That's why they have announced Ni no Kuni 2 for the PC. They believe in you guys to do the right thing.
Oh cool, Ni no Kuni was one of the games I wanted to play for a while now. But Jay, mate, are you really this dense? I'll tell you why they are going to release these games on PC. It isn't because love, flowers, hope and joy, starshine, butterflies and all that other feely crap. It's cold hard cash. They are doing it because they think it'll make them money. It's as simple as that. If companies did things because it would make people happy, we would have Beyond Good and Evil 2 by now. But Ubisoft makes far more money out of remaking Assassin's Creed over and over and over and over and over fucking again. Sometimes with assassins, sometimes with guns, sometimes with cars, but all their games, bar a tiny, tiny few, are all Assassin's Creed. I'm not sure I want them to make it at this point, since I don't want to be dragging Jade up the umpteenth millionth spire to reveal zillions of meaningless collectibles.
To buy the game day one at full price.
No, fuck you. If I even want to buy a game, I'll buy it when I know it's not a steaming pile of garbage, and probably at a far lower price than the frankly obscene $60 one, considering there are far better, content-rich games out there at a fraction of that price. This is some anti-consumer nonsense right here, pal. You shouldn't be encouraging your mentally handicapped audience to spend their hard-earned parents' money on things sight unseen. That's fucking irresponsible, and you should be fucking ashamed.
Not to exploit this failed DRM attempt by all of these different developers, it clearly isn't working.
The thing is, Spacco, most of them don't. According to one PC Gamer survey, 35% of players pirate. But that number includes players who pirate for a demo, who have no means to purchase certain games in their country. They have money to give, but aren't being served. The thing about piracy is, as Gabe Newell once said, it's a service issue. Let people buy your game. Make it easier to buy it than to pirate it. Make sure they have a fucking demo to try it out. I used to pirate in my younger, poorer days. I'm still poor, but now I have more games than I have the time to play, because of great sales and services like in-home streaming and cloud saves. That, while I can still do those things with non-Steam software, a la pirated, it's way easier. And that's what I'm really paying for. The time I don't have to waste dicking about.
So you guys can play it for free. This developer and Studio Ghibli, they worked hard on this game and the story, and they want you to support them.
Well, no shit. No one makes things and puts them out there because they want no one to buy it or watch it or whatever.
Just like you guys always lie in the fucking comment section of the PlayStation Legion podcast that, oh, we just want to support these games. We're not begging. We just want to support these games.
No one is begging. Reminding publishers that we are here and we will buy their games if they bring it to our platform, which we will, even if they do a shit job of porting. If the game is good enough, see Dark Souls. In fact, Dark Souls is probably the main reason they port so much of their stuff over now. Because, and I know you will find it hard to believe, because you are such a colossal fucking cretin, but lots of people bought it. It made them tons of extra cash. That's why the whole series is now on PC. It's why the ports of subsequent Dark Souls games were drastically improved, seeing as many people are put off by shit ports. So now they buy them and play them too. It's all about the money. But then providing a better service increased their sales. Not DRM or other bullshit, but good games that worked well.
It's begging. That's exactly what it is. Because most of you guys that have a capable PC of playing any of the PS4 exclusives that are Sony first party studio owned or Sony published, you're not planning to buy these games. You're planning to pirate these games. Big fucking difference.
You are so painfully ill-informed. It's not even funny. You don't know the first thing about PC gamers. You have some fucking weird boner for companies that don't give a shit about you. You think informing a company that there is a market elsewhere is begging. You, mate, are a fucking moron who needs to take a good, hard look at the man in the mirror and tell him to fuck off because he's an idiot. Thank fuck that one's over. You know, it always amazes me how in these things I can write so much based on such a small amount of video. You really are the alphas of the fucktard community.